Dirty Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We got some dirt balls chomping at the bit for today's show.
That's great. Love that. Maybe we should do this more often. Just like do it a little later in the day.
I kind of like to get it out the way, but obviously, we got time difference issues going on here.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I know, NFL, it's like that time, NFL season, we're kind of in full swing and everybody wants to talk about it. So guys, we're here. We're going to cover it all. We all know. Love me some NFL.
I'm looking at your screen. I just want to like grab your laptop and adjust it so I can see your Florence Y'all's hat, just like ever so slightly cut off. Oh, look at him. He's dropping down in the chair. Why adjust the computer when you can drop the chair?
Little flex right there.
A little and perfectly done. Literally just a half-inch drop.
Just a little flex right there.
Just a little flex.
You don't want to see my full Chargers hoodie?
Bro, I mean, you're like, if it weren't for Marianne Doe, there would be no faker Chargers fan in the world than you.
I never claimed to be a big Chargers fan. I just got season tickets, which have you heard what the NFL is doing now?
No. Oh, they're like taking your tickets away if you sell them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you tell me that already, or did somebody else?
I think I told you. I don't know if it was on or off air. So like that season where I sold every single game Chargers tickets, the NFL is now getting involved because I was reading some things on Twitter. Oh, I saw some Bengals fan posting that he shredded his knee and he's been selling all the games this year. And the Bengals aren't letting him renew next year. It's like, what?
Ridiculous, yeah.
Dude, like you talk about, that's crazy. That's some big brother NFL shit. You don't want people to sell, or the home team doesn't want people selling tickets?
I mean, the only reason I'm like somewhat okay with it is like, obviously the whole secondary market of ticket thing is out of control. You're now like, I mean, they're the big brother, the conspiracy, like Ticketmaster owns StubHub or whatever. Like the idea that Ticketmaster isn't immediately sending great tickets just to their own third party thing so that they can sell it for more than face on there. I mean, it's just so clear that that's happening, and tickets for everything are getting way out of control. I remember seeing an interview. There's an old clip that keeps surfacing every time somebody puts out, like Kurt Cobain talking about Madonna tickets being $50 and him being like, we would never. So can you imagine if Nirvana was alive today? Like if that was band was still going, their tickets would be $1,000. And he's like, we're not selling tickets for $50.
Yeah, I just read an article talking about this whole issue, saying how people are really cutting back on what would be a normal kind of date thing, or maybe the family goes and sees a concert. Those things now you really have to budget for because it's just so out of control.
Like I'm a Tyler Childers like fan club member or whatever, and his tickets went on sale, and it was just like, you can't go unless you bought the tickets. So I got tickets for Justin and Randy and I to go to the concert, and then I got an alert. Oh, here's one in like Saratoga, and I was like, oh, dude, I love going to Saratoga Performing Arts Center. Maybe I buy tickets there, and then I was like, it's a risk, man. If you can't go, not being able to sell them to somebody else, it's a risk. But at the same time, it keeps tickets reasonable. So it's like, I guess, if this guy shredded his knee and he wants to sell the tickets for face plus ticket fees, that seems fair. But I get it. It's like, it's the whole Airbnb thing all over again. It's like, we liked Airbnb because the prices were low, and then random people started buying 5 houses just so you could run Airbnbs, and then no one could rent a house anymore, and then Airbnbs are more expensive, and you're like, well, this did get out of control a little bit.
Well, same way. Remember when Uber came out?
Yeah.
When Uber came out, I remember how cheap it was, and I was blown away. And then, but like everything else, everything just gets jacked up.
Yeah.
But the NFL, and I'll just hop right into it. What's happening right now, I've just never seen with them, nor do I fully understand it as far as their tactics right now. Because we have said this many times, the NFL as a product, like if we're going to overall product, and we'll hop into the whole ref discussion today, especially from that Browns-Colts game. But if we're going to discuss as an overall
Browns, Colts, Eagles, Dolphins, multiple. I mean, at this point, you're more likely to have like a weird Steelers Rams. You're more likely to have a weird ref situation in the game, like an almost game changing ref thing, than you are not likely to have it.
True. Well, we can hop into the ref thing, and then we can discuss everything happening still with the fake fan and Taylor Swift. The ref issue definitely seems at its height right now as far as how bad it is. And I said to you before the show, we're all going to still watch the same way with everything happening off the field, all that other bullshit. Like what's to get the NFL to, why do they care? I guess that's the question I'm posing. And I agree. The ref situation is not good, but it's almost like they don't give a shit from my perspective. We don't care what everybody sees on Twitter. We don't care what everybody sees on Instagram. We're just going to keep putting out crappy refs because you're going to watch.
It's weird. I can't figure out at this point if the NFL just like doesn't give a fuck about, like, I guess maybe the social media fan, I would assume tends to skew younger. But if you remember the whole thing with Kaepernick, I only know like word for word because it came from the owner of my favorite team. It came from John Mara, him saying, I never got so many letters as I got about that. And I was just like, dude, if I owned an NFL team and I got letters, I'd be like, directly to the incinerator. I'd go full Wonka, just like to the incinerator room. Like if you're writing a letter, I don't care about your opinion because you're not long for this world. If you have stamps in your home, I literally don't care what you think about my business. Yeah.
I have stamps.
For what?
I mail stuff occasionally.
You mailing out fucking koozies to dirtballs? Like what? Like, but truly, if you write a letter to something, I almost, if you write a letter to me about my business, I almost want to do the opposite because I'm almost like, all right, let's get with the times. This is what the old people think.
Yeah, but I think here I've actually heard the opposite from. I had a really bad experience with an airline, and my buddy's dad worked for years at American, and he said, "You want to get their attention? You actually write them a letter."
I guess this is kind of my point,
because he said then they'll be like, "Wow, this person took the time to write a letter."
Yeah, but I'm also wondering. I mean, obviously, a big issue with the economy and our and the job market and whatever is like boomers just refuse to fucking quit. Like boomers refuse to leave business and refuse to mind their own business. That's my go-to phrase for fucking boomers these days. But like, is that the thing? Is it that like the higher ups are still the kind of people that are from a time where you like write a letter? Because you would think the NFL, I know the owners are all old white guys. So I understand you write John Mara a letter. He takes it seriously. But it's like, have some fucking forethought. You shouldn't be concerned about the old part of your audience. You should be concerned about growing the younger part of your audience, right? Like you would think the NFL should be super concerned with what Twitter's saying and not at all concerned what people are writing you in a letter. But they don't seem concerned at all that the weekly conversation about the NFL now is
refs.
the refs stop. Can we get refs that make somewhat proper calls? Can you stop showing fucking fake planted fans repeatedly throughout the game? And can you stop showing me this fucking pop star? Now, obviously, the pop star thing is like, that's the thing with Taylor Swift is obviously like they're cultivating an audience. It might piss off part of that audience, but that audience, those people aren't going anywhere. And it's also bringing in a new audience. So at least I can understand that. But flying the fake fan to Kansas City and putting her in a sponsor hat and cutting to her during the game, what are we doing here?
Yeah, yesterday was the first time when I was watching that game. That's probably the first time in my life where I didn't want to watch the game. Guys, think about this, and I'm not just saying that. It's the first time in my life that and a few things that need to be said with that. We're talking about the Chiefs, and we're talking about me. I am like the NFL's guy, right? I've paid for the Sunday ticket since 2016. I've paid for 8 straight years that I can get every single game. Who has the most exciting quarterback? Arguably the best quarterback ever to play the game. The Chiefs. What do I love? Quarterbacks. Arguably the best tight end of all time in Travis Kelce. Top 5 coach of all time, arguably, in Andy Reid. The point is, I didn't want to watch that game anymore because I was getting so annoyed with the fake fan, with Taylor Swift, with Brittany Mahomes. So I get what you're saying, and I said that right when the whole Taylor Swift thing started. They're trying to tap into another audience, but be careful what you wish for, because you know what I did in the second half? I took the volume. You know, you can choose when you're on Sunday ticket. I have 4 games on the screen. I was watching the volume for the Steelers-Rams game because I just could not hear audio anymore about Taylor Swift or Brittany Mahomes or a fake fan. I didn't want to hear Tony Romo or Jim Nantz reference it. That's how fed up I got, and I am at this point. Guys, I don't want to watch the best team, the most fun team with the best quarterback, because you're just shoving this shit down people's throat like mine, who are your base, and I don't really understand that. You don't have to shove it down our throat. The fake fan thing is next level.
Come down to Buffalo Wild Wings. A lot of people say boneless wings are not real wings. A lot of people say Marianne Doe's not a real fan. We're doing a Marianne Doe special. 2 pounds of your favorite boneless wings with your favorite Asian zing for Marianne Doe. And they're like, she's not a fake fan. What are you talking about? Oh, you're doing a Buffalo Wild Wings special, fake wings with Asian zing, and it's called the Marianne Doe special. Like, it feels like she's a fake fan.
Look at this video, and I sent this to you last night. This is what the NFL's Twitter feed posted. Again, this is from an account with so many millions of followers. This is not like you made fun of it last episode, spot on. This is not how an adult acts, for the record, let alone a fan. No adult ever acts like this, ever during a game. Never seen this. What is this?
It's the New Zealand. It's like the New Zealand rugby team's like pre-game war cry.
Watch this. She's doing a running. Watch this again. She's doing a running man. What is she doing?
But to be fair, Andy, this is like, I almost think the NFL doesn't give a fuck whether we like it or not.
No, they don't. That's my point.
They're happy pissing you off because you're showing her, because we're talking about it.
No, you're right. And that's another thing I wanted to discuss is like, they're winning. They are. You're right, because we are discussing her. I just like, at what point though? But here's the thing, guys. I don't want to discuss, like, we're going to discuss it now, but like, no more. Like, Joe and I might make jokes occasionally, but like, I'm not going to discuss it. I just, this notion that.
So we agree we should stop discussing it. Should we now do our planned handshake that we agreed upon doing when we were not discussing it? That's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Dude, that was the most cringe.
Let me say this right now. Turn on the fucking TikTok camera, as they say on Bill Simmons. Like, where's our TikTok editors when we need them? I don't give a fuck. I've already pissed off the Swifties enough. Like, I don't give a fuck. Your hero is the cringiest fucking chick on planet Earth. She is ultimate cringe. I was calling her a fucking 6. How about a 4.5? Dock another 1.5 for being the ultra cringe. You are the fucking Voltron of cringe. Nice, two fucking, like, they're like Kid and Play if Kid and Play had no fucking rhythm. Like, what is this?
Yeah, I agree, man. Look, I hadn't paid much
This is
attention
like
to Taylor
watching your
Swift.
dad and your fucking grandfather have a fucking choreographed handshake.
It was so cringe.
It's like
It
when
was-
it's like when you see fucking video on YouTube of a Midwestern couple dancing to, like, you know, I don't know what, Kendrick Lamar at their wedding. You're like, why are you guys doing this to yourself?
But you're right. Like that
Like,
was
our
so
first
cringe.
dance is fucking Hey Ya by Outkast. And now we're gonna have our whole wedding parties come out and do it. You're the fucking dorkiest dorks that ever dorked.
They really are. And look, that video, the Taylor Swift, Brittany Mahomes fake handshake, literally is why everybody says white people can't dance. And for the record, white people are not the best dancers. I agree. That stereotype holds up. But like that video is why we get shit on as dancers. And I want to say this about Taylor. I hadn't really followed her much. I still don't, obviously. But at least Taylor Swift had built a career and became the biggest pop star, right? But this is what I want to say about her. You took everything you built and now you've lowered yourself to Brittany Mahomes.
Wrong. Worst. Complete wrong take, Andy. Sorry.
Go for it. Why is it wrong?
She's always been that person. Those are her fans are people that thought that was cool. Her fans are people that are like, that's badass. Her and Brittany Mahomes did a cool choreographed handshake. Her fans are people that don't understand cringe. Her fans celebrate cringe. They thought that was so fucking cool. They thought that was so fun. She has not ruined her brand at all. Her brand, she is that brand. She is easy cheese in a fucking can, bro. She is the cringe.
But my point was, at least Taylor had built a career. Brittany Mahomes is only known because she married the best quarterback in the NFL. That's all I'm saying. You're only known. You literally are known for nothing. And I hate to say it, but there's a lot of these women out there, and you all need to step aside. If you're only known because your man did something, you bring nothing to this world. Sorry. Like you don't. Brittany, you bring nothing. I'm just going to say, what the fuck have you done? Like, that's the truth. You bring, at least give Taylor, she's going on tour, she's performing. Dude, she does nothing. You're literally only known because of your guy. And Taylor is down to that level. You're down to that level, doing handshakes with the girl only known because she married the quarterback. You're only known because you married the high school quarterback. Literally, that's what happened. You're the chick who dated the cool captain of the high school football team. And for them to not only lean into that, the NFL, the networks, I posted it on Dirty Sports, Sunday Night Football, to do the lead-in for the halftime show, the handshake. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. Just utterly ashamed of yourself. And they clearly don't care. I definitely peruse all the comments on Instagram, on Twitter. Here's the thing that's interesting. When the Kaepernick kneeling thing happened, it was such a split, right? It was like, don't disrespect my flag, people, and all that. And then there was, he's just standing up for people's rights. He's having a voice. It was pretty split. This is not split, though, Joe. That's what's interesting. Like, this is all pretty much anybody who's a legit fan is like, get these women off my screen. And that's like 90% of the responses. But I want to pose this because we had this.
But this goes back to the ref thing, Andy. It's like
That's what I was about to. That's what I was about to get to.
I think the NFL is just like, no such thing as bad press.
That's what I was about to get to. Yeah.
The NFL doesn't care how you're talking about them as long as you're talking about them. The NFL is like, do we have 99% of the sports conversation on Twitter right now? Yes. And 1% goes to baseball? Yeah. How do we get 99.999%? Well, like, I don't know. What if everybody's complaining about shitty refs?
So that begs this question. And I know we have a call about it, and I'll play the call. But we also had a DM from Captain Kook. And I don't disagree with what he said. He was commenting on the fan being in Kansas City, the fake fan. And his point was, guys, if they're willing to travel a fake fan, why aren't they willing to stage the whole season? Scripted. I mean, that's a legitimate point, I think, at this juncture of the discussion. If the NFL wants to go to the lengths of traveling a fake fan wearing a Buffalo Wild Wings hat, who says they're not saying to refs, hey, man, make this down short so the Steelers can win? Hey, call the pass interference here. Because they're planting a lot of seeds in people's heads.
Because, I mean, what's funny is, like, not only is there the NFL script commercial, but remember the Buffalo Wild Wings commercials of, like, hit the button?
Oh, 100%.
And now it's like almost they're telling us with the Buffalo Wild Wings hat. Like, remember that Buffalo Wild Wings hat about a commercial about fixing games? Here's exactly a Buffalo Wild Wings hat.
Yeah. Well, so this is the commercial that you're talking about. And I'm sure most of the Dirtballs have seen this. This was the kickoff for this year. This is from the NFL themselves.
All right, everyone. Last season was a smash. Ratings gold, but this year's script has to top it. So welcome to the table read for the 104th season of the NFL. Let's get to work. Yes, Jalen.
I thought this was a dress rehearsal.
Oh, sorry.
Week 1, 4th quarter, 3:02 left. Jamar leaps up and makes a no-handed catch.
No hands. How?
I don't need hands. I just catch you with my abs.
We can call it the abracadabra. Might as well send the ball to Canton now.
What if we wrote the Mahomes character out of the script entirely?
Yes. Wrote it all.
Yes.
Guys, not cool. Who said that? She didn't.
You're an actor, Patrick. Act like one.
Boring. What if we played shirts versus skins?
I like it, Kirko.
What if we replace my legs with actual wheels?
I love it.
What if Derrick Henry stiff arms a guy?
It would be possible for us to get to page 2.
So this is from the NFL, literally leaning in that it's scripted.
First of all, I want you to know I auditioned for that commercial. I auditioned for the director role that the dude from Key and Peele plays.
Michael Keaton K?
Yeah. And funny story, I went in, I was like, you gotta make these things your own. You gotta make some choices. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go in as like coked up director guy. The guy, like, every director, like 70s directors, like, yeah, we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this, and they're like, no, more like he just does this every day. I'm like, well, that's not as fun at all. I love, like, I was thinking Dennis Hopper, directing fucking Easy Rider. Like, he's got all these wild, crazy ideas, and they're like, no, more like straightforward. We're fixing the season. I was like, oh, you guys are just like leaning into it being like legitimately fixed. Okay.
When was that audition?
Like a month before the season.
I wonder if going in, they were like, we're going to pick somebody like Michael Keaton K, or they just decided that
after everybody came in and blew their audition. They're like, remember coked out mustache guy? Remember the guy doing the Dennis Hopper?
But like, Prano, they're leaning into that it's scripted. And just like they're leaning into fake fans, they're leaning into shitty refs and everybody causing a shitstorm on Twitter. Like, we are at the WWE level at this point. But you're right. I've made the joke before. Like, what would get anybody to stop watching the NFL? I'm just going to pose it right now to everybody listening. If you knew it was fake,
I'd stop watching.
would you stop watching?
If I knew it was fixed, yeah. Absolutely. Dude, I stopped watching baseball for like a decade. I just didn't watch baseball for like a decade. To me, what makes it so easy is like if I was a kid, just like with WWE or WWF when I was a kid, yeah, I'd still watch it because when you're a kid, you don't give a fuck about anything. But when you're an adult, man, like there's other things to do. I know there's a lot of places where there's not a whole lot of things to do. And like, that's why, they get up on fucking Saturday in Texas and they watch college football all day. And then they get up on Sunday in Texas and they watch NFL all day. And Friday night, they watch high school football. And, if they've been, I heard there's a Texas petition for them to play Pop Warner on Thursdays so that they can fill stadiums to watch that. I think there's a magnetic football league that runs on Tuesdays that fills the Jerry Dome. Like, I get that you don't have shit to do, but as an adult that has like shit to do, like I'll give up a sport like that. If I thought the NFL, if I truly thought it was fixed, and it sucks because my argument was always the NFL, the beauty of the NFL is it doesn't need fixing.
But
the parity of the NFL is what makes it the most popular sport.
And that's also
kind of my
Sunday. That's also kind of my point I was saying with the whole Taylor Swift thing. The Chiefs are already must-see TV for everybody, which is cool because they're not a big city. They're a middle of the country, mid-market. But with Patrick Mahomes, they're already must-see TV. I don't need a sideshow. I don't need a fake fan. I don't need shitty handshakes to watch the Chiefs. All I need is Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid running a fun offense. That's all I need. Again, when you're adding all this other
Britney
stuff.
Spears should date Sam Howell. I need a reason to watch Commanders games.
100%. I don't need a reason to watch Chiefs games. Let's get to the Browns Colts. Those two questionable calls. So this is the final drive. First, we had the illegal contact. That's this play, which is very sus right here.
So
it almost looks like Amari Cooper engages with him.
Here's my thing on this. This is ticky-tacky, but it is illegal contact.
Yeah, it's not as bad as the other one.
It's ticky-tacky, but it's illegal contact. My issue with complaining about the refs is you don't get to decide what is a rule and what is not a rule, right? Fans don't like it. Okay, well, be a better defender. When a guy puts a double move on you, you can't just be like, I'm falling over, so I'm going to grab him with his and then he pushes you off because you've grabbed him. Okay, feels like this one was whining. Okay, but then on the next play, again, this is my problem with the refs is like you don't get to decide what is a rule and what isn't a rule. That ball is thrown into the fucking stands. That ball's thrown into the stands.
Yeah.
It's uncatchable.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the rule. When we did this whole thing in the Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, he held him, but you let them play the whole game. That is not the discussion I want to have happening. I do not want to hear this is when we should call rules by the letter of the law, and this is when we should not. The letter of the law here is that ball is uncatchable. The end, not pass interference, uncatchable.
I mean, the ball lands realistically, as far as out of field, probably about 8 yards out of play.
Oh, dude, I think it's a 5. I think that's a 3 yard. I think the white thing is like 3 yards.
And then it goes past the yellow thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's about 7 or 8 yards out of play. And obviously, that's how that game ends. Browns win by a point. Same thing in that Steelers
I was rooting
game.
for the Browns.
Yeah, me too.
Because they were in my disastrous dropped off the top of a building 6-pack.
Dude,
But
you wanna-
at the same time, just like I don't want to like. Why are we changing the rules? And why isn't every goddamn thing reviewable by a ref? If the refs don't think something was so egregious that they might have missed it, then you can call a challenge. But if the refs think, I don't care what, like, you should, like this, the end of this Steelers-Rams game. You guys knew you blew it, but the Rams don't have any challenges yet left. Who cares? Don't you want to be right?
Yeah, I know. Well, it's such a technicality. And same thing. I picked the Steelers. But it's a shitty way to end the game. Pickett's clearly short on the first down, but the Rams can't challenge because they're out of timeouts. I get they can't challenge. It's just it's not a good way to end. And that's my thing on a lot of these games. It's the same way, obviously, with Colts Browns. This is how you want to end a hard-fought back-and-forth game. It's a shitty way to end the game.
Yeah. 8 lead changes in that game.
Lots of it was lots of good energy you could feel in that stadium. Obviously, a lot of Steelers fans there, but like that was a fun game. And that's how you're going to end it? It just sucks, man. And that's my thing with the NFL. But again, what would ever come?
And you know what's crazy is I've said it before. I think that the common sense told me why would the NFL want the Patriots to win every year? Doesn't that just cost them, Jets fans and Bills fans and Dolphins fans? Why does the NFL want the Chiefs to win every year? Doesn't that just make Raiders fans and Broncos fans and whatever like give up on the thing? Like, but then you watch things like the Eagles game. The Eagles didn't get penalized once. There's 40 clips of them just like choke slamming defenders and holding just 0 penalties. I'm a guy who goes, your conspiracy theory is dumb. The NFL is great because of parity. And then you're like, Sunday night game, one team got penalized like a 20 ticky-tacky calls, and the other team didn't get penalized any times.
Yeah. Now, on that game,
I don't like to admit I'm wrong, but like, God damn.
Here's the thing about that game. It is surprising that the Eagles wouldn't have one penalty. I think that's fair to say. But the Eagles pretty much dominated that game, minus some bad Jalen Hurts turnovers, though, too.
Yeah, but they also got bailed out with calls for them on a couple of big plays, which I wanted to talk about as well. I mean, we can talk about this in the tush push, which I insist on calling it. I don't care that Philadelphia fans have.
I call it the tush push. What are they trying to call it?
They're trying to call it the brotherly shove to make it a little less. I don't want to use any word that would offend anybody, but I think, yeah, I think they're trying. I think the brotherly shove is to make it a little less gay sounding than the tush push. But like,
I like tush push. I think tush push sounds great. The little tush push.
I think tush push is exactly what it is. But here's my issue with the NFL. Okay, I don't think they should ban the tush push.
I agree.
I don't think they should ban it. At the same time, you're hypocritical not to ban it. So on a 4th and 1, the Eagles run a play and 2 Eagles players spear their own quarterback in the back as hard as they can and push his body through other players' bodies. And then on the following 3rd down, a Dolphins player touches the same quarterback, and it's personal foul because we're protecting quarterbacks in the league. Which is it? You can spear quarterbacks for the sake of a yard, or you're not allowed to touch quarterbacks. So, like, we're not protecting players from their own players. We're only protecting them from light touches from other players. That roughing the passer call, when the guy pulls up, doesn't shove, and then Jalen Hurts is just so used to flailing when another man shoves him that he goes into his own, front tush push, and he goes down. Now it's roughing the passer. Like, either we're making rules in this league for the sole exception of protecting players, especially protecting our stars, or we're not. Like, Jalen Hurts at this point, like, he was hurt last game. You could tell he was hurt.
You mean last night?
Yeah. He's hurt.
For sure.
And we talked about it before, like, Lamar Jackson got hurt in the pocket. Anthony Richardson got hurt in the pocket. Like, guys, it's a numbers game. The more you get hit, the more likely you are to eventually hurt. So now we're protecting Jalen Hurts. We're protecting star, high-paid quarterbacks from other teams. But 6 times a game, Jalen Hurts can just be a punching bag for 21 other men. Jalen Hurts is just doing the Houston 500. There's 22 guys gang-banging Jalen Hurts.
That's a great reference, by the way.
21 other men 500. Of different shapes and colors and creeds.
Oh, I've
all
seen that.
Pounding Jalen Hurts 6 times a game.
I've watched it. You watched it?
No, I've never watched it.
I've watched it. My buddy had it on DVD.
That's what I'm calling the tush push from now on.
They had to ice her down.
I'm calling the tush push the Houston 500 because Jalen Hurts is just on his back getting having a train run on him.
It works every time, though, man. The tush push works every time.
Yeah, but and I don't think it should be illegal. But at the same time,
but you know they don't care. That's the thing. The NFL doesn't care about anything.
So then why do we have the roughing the passer where if you brush a quarterback's helmet in any way, that it's roughing the passer? Why do we have that?
I agree. I don't think any of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. The only reason the NFL actually started to care about brain injuries was because of the movie Concussion. Literally, it took a Will Smith movie. And everybody saw it and like, whoa, this is what's happening? So these guys are all crazy? And they're like, okay, we're going to do these fake helmets, these soft helmets in preseason.
I don't know if you heard, Jada Pinkett Smith said Tupac was the first one that wanted to talk to the NFL about concussions. That's why they had him killed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
She's another one on my please go away list.
Yeah.
Like, what? Why is she always talking all the time now? We get it. You used to date Tupac. We get it. I want to say the Dolphins, though, are running into the same problem they did last year. You got to beat good teams, man. I believe the teams they had beat coming into that game were 8-25. I think I saw a stat. The defense actually showed up pretty well last night for the Dolphins. The defense kept them in that game. But offensively, what did we say all last year? You got to show me on the road you can compete.
And in games where
you're playing good defense.
Yeah, you're playing good defense. You're playing on the road. You're playing, you're playing in a hostile environment. You're playing all those things, all the things that you're going to face in
the playoffs. So for that reason, I'm going to say it right now, Dolphins fans, you're frauds still to me. I was starting to believe a little, just a little, but until you show you can win on the road, you're frauds.
Let me ask you something, because it feels like the week 1 Thursday night loss to the Lions is the single reason that we're in like week 6 or week 7. What week are we in?
Week 7.
That was week 7. That we're through 7 weeks. And we've done 7 versions of, ooh, the Dolphins put up 70 on the Broncos. Ooh, the Bills beat the shit out of the Dolphins. Ooh, like the Lions. Oh my God, the Lions this week. Lions are going to win a road game. And now we're going to do it for the Ravens, right? The Ravens beat the shit out of the Lions. Meanwhile, the Chiefs and the Niners are the best teams in football, and people just like refuse to talk about it. We have to like crown some other like we just have a paper tiger champion every week. The Chiefs are just like, okay, cool story.
Well, I will be the first to say, I got to find out where I put the L chain. I was actually waiting to put it on. I take the L chain. I thought the Ravens were going to lose at home to the Lions. And I'll tell you what, I took a fat L on that. That game was over after the first drive. The Lions,
on the road, on grass, outside against a good defense.
That was a reckless Andy.
It's hard to be Lions and Tigers simultaneously. So I guess you're the paper Lions. You're a paper big cat. I know that.
I thought that'd be a fun game. Clearly a big blowout. I think, though, I might go on record saying this. I'm going to go on record saying this. It might be the best passing game I've ever seen from Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, probably. He had a week, what was it, a week 1 or a week 2 game against the Dolphins during his MVP year where he threw for like 500 yards or some shit like that. Tons of big plays. But yeah, I mean,
he looked nice.
He looked good. But do we have to do this now? I'm telling you, this is what it feels like, right? Now it feels like this is going to be the Lamar Jackson week. You could have had the Falcons could have had Lamar Jackson for a song. I don't give a shit until it's a conference champion weekend. If you're not in that game, I don't give a fuck, dude.
Well, look, I'm not going to disagree with the Chiefs being the cream of the crop. It's the Chiefs and it's everyone else. And I don't know who that is at this point. Is it Ravens? Bill has absolutely looked terrible.
We're saying in the AFC?
Yeah, I'm just talking AFC right now.
Yeah.
I'm saying after the Chiefs, I don't know who that is. Who is that? The Ravens,
the Jaguars.
But that's what I'm saying. The Jags looking nice. They're quiet.
But here's the other thing with that. I don't care who's going to lose to the Chiefs in Arrowhead and Conference Championship. Okay, that's a fun game.
Also, like my thing, the Ravens are playing nice. When's the last time Lamar played 16, 17 games?
Exactly.
So, everyone's like,
and also, like, look at the world we're living in today. We're going to crown the we're going to crown the team of the week. Team of the week. The Ravens. They beat the Detroit Lions at home. Yeah, but this isn't the Detroit Lions that this is a different Detroit Lions. Can I just say this? Because I haven't been on Twitter much in the last couple of days. If Lions fans haven't already shut the fuck up for a minute, now would be the time, guys. Go back in your hole.
Well, look, it's a long season.
I don't know about biting people's knees, but you were certainly on your knees getting absolutely butt fucked on the road. I don't know.
Also,
is there some sort of 69 situation here where you're biting knees while getting it up your butts?
Also, Dan Campbell, when your team's down 38-6 in the fourth quarter, just a little coaching advice. Maybe take out your starting quarterback with 7.5, 8 minutes to go. I'm like, you guys are down 30. What is he doing? Take Jared Goff out of the game, man. What are you doing?
John Harbaugh coach Ravens team that always plays good defense. I cannot believe Jared Goff didn't go on the road and carve them up.
What do you think made me pick that? Like, that was a lock. That was an Andy Ruther lock. That was a Miller Lite lock.
What was crazy is I was thinking about this morning. I was like, oh man, Andy is more committed to his anti-Lamar hot take than his anti-Detroit Lions hot take.
No. I think Lamar's great in the regular season until he gets hurt. Yeah, he's a fun player. That's why everybody, you said you haven't been on Twitter, so everybody's already wanting to crown the Ravens AFC North champs, and I'm like, look, man, they're looking good now until he gets hurt in week 12. And then, you just go by quarterbacks, which.
But right now, what's the Ravens record?
5-2.
Okay.
The
Steelers are 4-2.
4-2. And the Bengals are 3-3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously everybody's right there.
Yeah.
But we always go by the quarterback, right?
Sure.
I don't know what's going on in Cleveland right now. I mean, this Deshaun Jackson thing or Deshaun Watson thing.
It feels like the missed coaching opportunity in Cleveland is, hey, man, I'm not Bill O'Brien, and we're not the Houston fucking Texans. We have a great defense. Not only that, we have an
They didn't play
elite.
too great yesterday.
Well, but at the same time, they had an elite defensive player who had what, like 2 forced fumbles.
Myles Garrett?
Yeah. It's 5 sacks, like whatever the fucking sack numbers were yesterday. Like, we talk about, you say, oh, they didn't play that great yesterday. That's the Jameis 1 of 1. Well, the Bucs didn't stop anybody when Jameis was there. Yeah, it was a short field. You keep turning the ball over on your own side of the field.
Yeah.
You like, if you're Deshaun Watson, you know what you're capable of from an athletic standpoint. But bro, we don't have to live to fight another day. The spin out, roll, throwing going the wrong way, just directly at guys. Like, dude, just lay down, throw the ball out of bounds. I feel like Eli Manning should have he should have a court. You know how Hakeem Olajuwon has like the big man camp, where like every next great big man goes and spends a summer with Hakeem, and they pay him like $2 million to teach him the fucking dream shake. I think Eli Manning should have like the Eli Manning school of just surviving. He's like, guys, you get paid more if you play for 20 years. Throw the ball, lay down, throw the ball away, chuck a punt. Who cares? Because Deshaun Watson, dude, you just have to limit. You're a run the ball, play defense team. Limit your mistakes.
And without him, they're nothing. But to be fair, even when he's played, he didn't play that well. You know, he kind of got the, last year.
It almost feels like if you could do a Nick Cage, John Travolta movie where you took PJ Walker's brain and put it in Deshaun Watson's body, the Browns would win the Super Bowl. You took your brain off.
Like a remake of Face Off. Brain Off?
Yeah. Took your brain out.
But what I was going to say, last year, Deshaun Watson gets hey, he's rusty. He didn't play all this year. He didn't play for more than a year. Now we're 7 weeks in. You got about a year's worth of games. Granted, he hasn't played them all, which is the point because he's hurt. It's just the Browns are not going to go anywhere without him. And that trade is looking worse and worse and worse. Take the money out of it. Just the trade. It's an all-time bad trade, possibly.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson, when he wakes up from his concussions, goes, thank God for Russell Wilson.
But it could be that.
No, it's not even close to that, but still.
Speaking of that, well, the Packers are a mess, man. They lost to the Broncos.
There are a lot of teams that won this week, and you're like, is Caleb Williams' games that bad? No one wants him now? Just feel like, why are did I predict the Giants would win the game? I go, stupidly, they're going to win the game. Patriots, what the fuck?
What is going on with the Bills? The Bills were getting their ass kicked that whole game.
Yeah.
They have been terrible since crushing the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But that's my point. You have Kansas City and everybody else.
And I know it's just Eagles fans and all that, but like I feel like you got the Niners and everyone else too.
So Debo's out for a little bit. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So he's not playing tonight. He's
obviously, obviously, You have the Chiefs and everyone else. If Travis Kelce's hurt, they're not the Chiefs. So yeah, obviously injuries are a thing. And we just said you and I are not the kind of people that are going to hop on the Ravens bandwagon because Lamar Jackson's got to make it through the season. And part of the reason I'm not on the Eagles bandwagon is
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts got to make it through the season. He's already hobbling, and he's participating in a gangbang 6 times a game. Just fucking
Jalen Hurts 500.
Human centipede. He's just fucking. He's just Jennifer Connelly getting ass to mouth.
No, the one guy goes ass to ass. I love these references, and I'm sure some people are like, "What are you guys talking about?" By the way, the Houston 500. To go back to that, so again, I don't know why my buddy owned it in college. We put it on.
Because they promote, like Howard Stern was promoting it forever.
Dude, you put it on. The amount for anybody who people might not even know what we're talking about. She literally had sex with 500 guys. The porn star Houston. And that was her name, right? Houston?
Yeah, I think that's why it was called that.
So I think you got like so many pumps or whatever. The look on her face, like halfway, you just see the regret. Like halfway through, she's like, why did I sign up for this? Why have I been pushing? And it's just a line. Like the camera pans back and it's just like a line of guys like, yep, waiting my turn. It is violent though, man. Like I was really watching it last night. The Jalen Hurts tush push. It's straight up rugby, dude. Like when those guys get in a scrum, and it is guys just, it's like a concussion bonanza down there.
Yeah.
Like I'm just waiting for the next New Heights where Jason Kelce is like speaking in tongues, and they're like, "What's happening here?" And he's like, "Dude, too many tush pushes as the center." And it's brutal.
Is Nick Sirianni the Benedict Cumberbatch of NFL coaches too? Does he have the world's most punchable face?
I don't know if he has the most punchable.
Who's a coach with a more punchable face?
It's funny. His face doesn't actually. I don't know. There's not too many coaches. Okay, I think Mike McCarthy has a very punchable face.
Okay, it's right there.
Like he's up there for me. I'm trying to think of who else.
Mike McDaniel has the.
I was just
knock those glasses off your face.
I was just about to bring in Mike McDaniel. I think they run some fun plays, and they're obviously a fun offense to watch. But I still think I get the. This is my like internal vibe with the Dolphins. It's like it's kind of like a fad, guys. I just, obviously Tua got hurt last year. They didn't win their first playoff game, even though they were right in it with the backup against the Bills. But it's like, can this hold up?
It feels like
this style.
It feels like, remember when we would go through, there would be times when like one conference was way easier and you'd have the team in that conference that was just like running through. Like it feels real Matt Ryan Falcons. It feels real the Jim Kelly Bills. Where you're like, oh.
Kelly Bills were at least going to Super Bowls, man.
I know, but I'm saying that there was a time when one conference was dominant and the other conference just had like one team that was really good, and then they could look great running through teams. And then the Bills went to the Super Bowl every year. They got, with the exception of the 2019 Giants win, they got absolutely destroyed.
They would get their ass kicked.
Like historic losses. I mean, there was one Super Bowl where Don Beebe running down Leon Lett was like their highlight. They put it on like T-shirts. Like he stopped it from being a 50-point loss. He's an American hero.
The one in Pasadena, I think.
Yeah.
I think that was that one. Oh, man. I remember exactly where I was at that game. as a kid just watching that Super Bowl, be like, wow, this is bad. I hated the Bills too.
Yeah. They're like, hey, Mark Rippon, you want to be remembered forever? You get to play the Bills in the Super Bowl. He's like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me.
I can see that.
The Giants beat them with a backup.
Well, to be fair, the Giants beat everybody in the playoffs, the backup.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. That's why you're right. It's Kansas City and it's everybody else. I'm just surprised, like at this juncture, like I keep going back to, like what are the Bills? I keep saying, what are the Bills? You're 4-3. Josh Allen, every time he has bad turnovers, you lose. And he had some bad turnovers yesterday. It's like I've seen a lot of he plays to his competition. Like he gets up for the big games, and then he's playing a team he should beat, and he just kind of shits the bed.
Dude, it's the NFL though. Like every game's a big game when you're thinking about the fact that like, so at this point, you're 2 games behind. Forget where you are in your own division, but you're 2 games behind. Can't see like you're gonna. Oh, so Josh Allen and the Bills are gonna go to Arrowhead and win an AFC Championship game.
And that's what I keep thinking. I
do not think you will.
And that's my point. Nobody's really talking about that. I know it's early, but that's my point, is that you have to go through Arrowhead. Now, the Bengals did it. They also were getting blown out. Came back, made a great second half. The Patriots did it. Like, it can be done. Not easy.
Yeah, it can be done, but is it being done by the Bills? Is it being done like the Patriots? I mean, the Patriots won God knows how many games, big games on the road. You know, like I know everybody loves when I bring up my New York Football Giants, but like that was the thing about the Eli Manning, Tom Coughlin era. Is like, we're gonna play you tight no matter what. Like, we'll go on the road, we'll play you tight. We hope it's a field goal game at the end. You know, we're gonna do whatever. But like when you have these games where it's like one day you're kicking the shit out of the Dolphins, the next day you're getting manhandled by the Pats. It doesn't really feel like you have a personality that says, oh, we'll win a couple road playoff games.
Sure.
Now, if Buffalo has a home field advantage to the playoffs, obviously they have a home field advantage in the weather there in January, their fan base, the whole thing being outside. Like,
but that also didn't help last year. A giant snow game. They got their ass kicked by the Bengals.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's, you know, if I'm a Chiefs fan, that loss was the best thing that ever happened to them. They get it out of the way, so to speak.
And they fly under the radar.
That's what I'm saying. Because we've had recent years. Let's not forget, we've had recent years where the Chiefs have kind of stumbled mid-season.
Which is precisely why week 1 happened. And it's like, I guess you guys owe the Lions an apology. I'm like, I don't know anybody shit, dude. You Thursday night, week 1 with no Travis Kelce. I'm good. I'll take the Chiefs to the Super Bowl for 1,000, Alex.
I think tonight's gonna be a tight game, though. I do. That's why I took the Vikings against you. It's one of those games where it's still road game. The Vikings have good fans. It's not going to be an easy environment. It's one of those, you're without one of your playmakers, it's Brock Purdy. How are you going to show up? Right? I mean, there's obviously the Kirk Cousins Monday Night Football primetime thing.
I'm not even concerned with that as much as the reason I went Niners and I wasn't super worried about McCaffrey or Debo or whatever, which is like the Niners defense. Show me the Kirk Cousins big game against a good defense. I'll wait, as they say.
Is it time
this offensive line? You make it 7 times.
Well, I got to call him to play. You just reminded me. I can't wait to hear Prano response to this. Speaking of Kirk Cousins.
Hey guys, just wanted to ask this question. So we need to have a serious discussion about Justin Herbert. You can tell me his team stinks. You can tell me this, tell me that. But guys kind of going out there looking like Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins with a better social media team. Kirk Cousins, Gen Z Kirk Cousins, all that stuff. So let me know what you think. I think he's Kirk Cousins, and I think he's just going to be putting up good stats, but he's not going to win any big games, and he's just going to have a bunch of yards and stuff like that. Condoms are for Dabo Sweeney. I hope he, suicide cereal or something like that. Okay, bye.
The old suicide cereal. That's a claim right there, Prano. Kirk Cousins 2.0 for Justin Herbert.
I love that we're talking about Kirk. So it's like, how many? What year is Herbert in? 5?
Yeah, I think
We're talking about. We're comparing 5-year Herbert to 5-year Kirk Cousins. I mean, I'm a Giants fan, so I feel like I would have seen this stat. But did Kirk Cousins have the most yards thrown in the first 5 fucking seasons of his career when he was in Washington? What the fuck are we talking about?
This is year 4, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah. The obvious, you want to play the fucking obvious who is Justin Herbert game? He's Matt Stafford. Just obvious arm talent, constantly throwing for a ton of yards. Constantly let down by an imbecile coach, constantly let down by a defense. I'd love to see Matt Stafford's win-loss record. People keep putting up, Justin Herbert's 27-28. At some point, you got to win games. Dude, every team that the Chargers play, they have a defensive head coach. If your team looked inept, come play the Chargers. We'll get you back on track. There's a quarterback controversy in Dallas. Should they put Trey Lance in? Should they go back to fucking what's his name who played last year? Dak looks horrible. 3 interceptions, just manhandled by the Niners. Blah, 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 blah. Just kidding. You want to put up 40 points on the Chargers? On the road? Whoo-ah! The obvious comparison is Matt Stafford. Take Matt Stafford. When I tell you that Mike McDaniel's glasses would be in pieces, his Don Shula knockoffs would be in pieces because his head would explode if you offered him Herbert for Tua. He'd go into the Tua fucking concussion convulsion. He wouldn't be able to fucking accept it fast enough. He'd be like, I get Tyreek Hill and Justin Herbert? Cool. So I just snap the ball, and then the cheetah runs 80 yards, and Justin Herbert just throws it. And it's just like every 12-year-old playing Madden 95, just hitting C to snap, C to throw, C to pull up the receivers, and C to throw downfield.
So I pulled up the stats. Now Matthew Stafford, because it's his 4th year. I'm sorry, it's Justin Herbert's 4th year, so we'll do the first 4 years. Stafford got hurt. He started 10 games his rookie year, and then he got hurt his 2nd year. So he only started 3 games. So he was 17-28 through his first 45 games, which was 4 seasons. And he led the Lions to the playoffs his 3rd year. Like his 3rd year, he really broke out after the injury. He had 41 touchdowns, threw for 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
Then I remember that game. They got smoked in the playoffs by, I believe, the Saints. Look, here's my thing with Justin Herbert. I don't think you cannot compare their ability. The throws Justin Herbert makes, and we've said this, I don't think maybe anybody else in the NFL can make certain throws with his arm. I don't think anybody. That includes Patrick Mahomes. with his arm strength. You do got to start putting the team on your back a little more, though. I like if he goes through this year, doesn't win a playoff game, you're 4 years in, no playoff wins. I'm telling you, I know the defense gave up a lot last year in that Jags game, but like you got 3 points in the second half.
Right.
Like not winning that playoff game. That is a blemish on his record.
Sure.
I don't want to call him Kirk Cousins again because there is a different level of talent. Definitely Matthew Stafford would be the easiest comparison, not Kirk Cousins. It does suck when you have a shitty coach. I mean, Brandon Staley is guys, he's lost. He's out of his league, man. Plain and simple. He's one of those hires where you said, oh, cool. You're the defensive coach again on the Rams that had always had a great defense, and you just so happen to be the defensive coordinator, and the team was ranked number 1 in defense, so you get a job.
So here's a fun thing. Kirk Cousins didn't start, obviously. He's a backup to RG3. So I did 6 years of Kirk Cousins to Justin Herbert's 4 years. Kirk Cousins, 62 games to Justin Herbert's 55 games. Justin Herbert, 27-28. Kirk Cousins, 26-30. Completion percentage goes to Herbert. Passing yards and attempts go to Cousins because he played 7 more games. Yards per game, pass TDs, rating, rush attempts, rush yards, rush per game, every fantasy points, everything all goes to fucking Justin Herbert.
They are wasting away his talent, though.
Yeah.
It also
should be fired today.
It also sucks they're in the Chiefs division. Like that doesn't help.
Yeah, but guess what? They're also in the Broncos and the Raiders division.
True.
If you're 2-4 and you're in the Broncos and the Raiders division, no one expects you to challenge the Chiefs for the division, really. But you should be cakewalking into a wild card. Fire Brandon Staley today.
Is it time for the Saints to bench Derek Carr for your boy, Jameis Winston?
I guess if you think that that's their issue.
He's struggling.
Yep. And Saints fans want to shit on the coach and want to shit on the offensive coordinator and want to shit on the quarterback. Well, there's a chance it could be some combo of those things. But the obvious. Okay, let's just play the stupidity. Like let's play the game. If Jameis is so goddamn fucking competent, why does everybody just multiple coaches? Why do people just refuse to put him in? Why is Bruce Arians moving on? Why is Sean Payton fucking not going back to him? Why are they giving fucking Taysom Hill $20 million? Why is Derek Carr getting traded for? Why didn't he play like the media bias?
No, I agree. I'm just tossing it out there.
No, but I know, but I'm just saying, like, he's got experience. Also, you can cut guys if you don't like them, right? Like, why are we acting like he's stuck there? Dennis Allen hates him. He's not going to admit he's wrong. Why'd you sign him? You don't think you could have you couldn't have had Derek Carr with Andy Dalton as your backup? No one's trading for Jameis. No one wants him.
Yeah.
Just you're the Titans. You don't know what's going on at quarterback. You just go get Jameis. You know why? Because Vrabel's fucking head would explode if he had a quarterback who threw 30 picks in a year.
I saw a wild take today. I didn't click on it, but I just saw the headline. Dan Orlovsky, who, by the way, is such a dork. Can we talk about that? Like, bro, he said the Browns should trade for Kirk Cousins. Like, dude, that's your take? You think the Browns should trade for Kirk Cousins? Did you say this on our show or was this a tweet? I couldn't stop laughing about trust. Suddenly we're trusting the guy who ran out of it was a reference to him running out the back of the end zone as a player.
Yeah. He's literally like a punchline. And we're like, oh, he's the quarterback guru. He doesn't know how many yards are on a field. He doesn't know how deep end zones are.
Dan Orlovsky looks like the type of guy who'd walk in on his wife cheating on him and he'd go, oh, sorry, and walk out the room.
No, he looks like the kind of guy who'd walk in his wife cheating on him and ask for the all 22 video so he could break it down after the fucking event. He'd be like, this is my wife getting a cuck. This is this guy cucking me with my wife. You can look here that my kids, I should have had them playing in a cover 2, but you can see them bunched up here on their iPads in their playroom. If you're not going to cover your half of the field, the cucking is going to come right down the middle and you're not going to be able to stop them. The classic cuck pick play where he had my kids run into each other with their iPads and they fell down on the ground. That's why no one saw him go into my wife's bedroom.
But like, it's amazing to me. I know people get sick of it and you guys can get annoyed. Going back to the Cousins thing, it's because everybody does it. It's trade him to the Jets, trade him to the Browns. This notion that when he goes to a good defense, there's suddenly just going to be, I don't understand it. There's nothing in his history that says, hey, you go to a good defense and suddenly you're going to put the team over the top.
No, maybe the Browns should trade for Case Keenum. He got to a fucking conference championship game. Also, Amari Cooper's a fine wide receiver, but he's by no means an elite wide receiver in the NFL anymore, right?
No.
So who is Kirk Cousins fucking, whoopee when he goes there? Who's his fucking security blanket?
That's a good question.
Who is the, close my eyes, pray to Jesus, throw it to somebody?
Yeah, I don't know.
And also, can we talk about Kirk Cousins joining the AFC North? Just the Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens.
I never thought about that.
Are we trying to set a record for like crunch time, pick six, puke in your own mouth?
Yeah, I never thought about that.
John Harbaugh just turns into the fucking South Park jizz meme when they tell him that the Browns have traded for Kirk Cousins.
Oh man, I know. I don't get it. Everybody they always bring him up, man. Oh, trade Cousins to so and so. Trade Cousins to this team, that team. Like he's gonna be the guy. I don't know though, Joe. Like we talk about parity a lot, man. My take at this juncture is you just like we said, you got the teams at the top, and then it's kind of everybody else.
Who's your Super Bowl right now, Andy? Hey, give me your conference championship games.
Chiefs. God, who are the Chiefs playing? I don't know. I don't trust the Ravens with Lamar. Like, and I'll say this, and this isn't like a homer thing or if you're like, oh, Bandy Andy. I trust the Bengals way more than I would the Ravens. Like the Bengals going on a run. Again, I don't think they will. I don't know. I am low-key disappointed on the Bill situation because it's like, guys, just get it together. You have a window.
Jags? You believe in the Jags?
I'm starting to really believe in the Jags. I'll say Chiefs, Jags. And then I'll say Niners.
You believe in the Eagles or the Lions more?
Eagles. I mean, there'd be a repeat of last year. I mean, what would you pick?
I mean, yeah, I think, what's crazy is like, can I just say I picked Chiefs Niners Super Bowl like I did to start the fucking year? Like, does it fucking matter?
No, it really doesn't. By the way, our boy Alex from Kentucky called back again. And he was blowing up the comments when the show started. No one has ever wanted Mike Vrabel fired more than Alex from Kentucky.
Wild. Who they hiring?
Here's what he has to say.
It's a bye week. Wasn't they have a bye this week?
Yeah.
Hey, Andy, Joe, it's Alex from Kentucky. Let me tell you, I heard the show today, and I heard you took my call, but that's not why I'm calling. Let me tell you why I want Vrabel fired, because he stuck with Tannehill for this long, and I refuse to believe he has no say in draft decisions. He got our last GM, John Robinson, fired. And he stuck with Tannehill and refused to bench him. They refused to address the quarterback position. Malik Willis can't throw to save his life. Will Levis is entitled as shit. And now we're in last place in the AFC South. Cut Tannehill, fire Vrabel mainly because he refuses to take accountability for sticking with Tannehill for this long. Tannehill sucks. That's why Vrabel should be fired. He's not the reason we're in games. He's the reason we're out of games. And he's the reason we choked last season's division lead to the Jags. Goodbye.
So much anger. Oh, that's a good one. So here's the thing, man.
Now, do we also want Vrabel fired for trading AJ Brown to the Eagles and then replacing him with DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, he was against that, wasn't he? No, but didn't stuff leak? Like Vrabel was against that?
Against the signing of DeAndre Hopkins or against the trading of AJ Brown?
The trading of AJ Brown.
Well, it was insane when they did it, right? It was like, what? Why? Why would you do that? We got him fired.
Well, the thing also, though, Alex, you're forgetting. I'm not disagreeing that they shouldn't have. That they definitely should not have stuck with Ryan Tannehill.
But also, they, he said, oh, they blew the division lead last year to the Jags. Like they've won and or been competitive for the division in the last couple of years, and yet they don't have a better option at quarterback. So like you're benching the guy. Malik Willis came in last year when Tannehill got hurt. He was incompetent. And I thought Malik Willis was going to be good based on nothing other than the fact that he was joining a good team and was a highly valued prospect coming out of college. I didn't watch him play in college. I have no idea where he even went to school. But you go, oh, well, he was infinitely worse than Tannehill.
It's all coming back. Remember Vrabel's, it was during the draft. Remember Vrabel's reaction was not good. Remember it was like in the war room. I just pulled it up. Like he didn't want that trade. So look, I agree, man. Vrabel should not have stuck with Tannehill. The problem is like, what, here's the thing you have to ask though. Where were they going? So let's go back, right? They lose to the Bengals at home. They have the best record in the AFC. They lose in the divisional round 2 years ago. What would be their other option? They did draft a QB.
2 of them now.
So they've also, they haven't had like a top pick. That, they're in a shitty spot when you're not in the top 10. So it's like, who are you drafting? Like they were too good to have a top 10 draft pick. So I don't get to fire Vrabel because your defense and your running game and the whole system was all set up because of Vrabel. And that's sustainable, right? We agree, right? The Harbaughs, the Carrolls. If you have a defense you can like if that's your mantra and that's your system, that's normally sustainable for you to be competitive for years. So, Alex, you need to. I feel like Alex is the type of guy who, like, that was one bottle of like Coke, like Coca-Cola, like the caffeine got him going. He doesn't seem like the type of guy who does like drugs. He had a can of Coke and was like, I'm calling the show. I'm worked up.
Monster.
Yeah, a can of Monster energy drink.
He's got some like Four Loko he's been sitting on for a couple of years.
That's hilarious. I wonder what he's up to in Nevada. By the way, I re-listened to "He Who Shall Not Be Named," the voicemail I left me. I'll send it your way off the show. It's weird, dude. It's like borderline, like, man, what are you talking about? And he left it on Easter 2021. Like, bro, you need to get some help. I don't even know what you're talking about. You're crazy. Give us a ring, though, Dirtballs. 310-359-8365. That is our hotline. So, Phil, man, what's going on in this baseball world? We got
we got a game set. We got a game 7 coming up tonight. Max Scherzer taking them out for
Mac, do it.
Oh God, we hit that guy in the last game, and now we're gonna fucking hit another guy. Can't wait to fucking hit guys.
Yeah. So I mean, kind of all we have a game 7 and a game 6. Phillies are up 3-2. They go home. They have 2 shots at home to win it. Feels like that's all but a done deal. No disrespect to the Diamondbacks, but feels like going on the road to the bank with how Philly's been playing. Feels like that's all she wrote. Nice fight Diamondbacks put up. You had to steal one there first time through. You didn't. Nice fight you put up at home, but it feels done. And then big game 7 to see who gets to face probably the Phillies. Houston, betting wise, -130 tonight. So Houston favored at home. Max Scherzer 0-1 with 11.25 ERA against Javier 2-0, the 1.69 ERA. I mean, unless it's turn back the clock night, I don't know. Feels like they just. I mean, listen, like I said, I don't want to see Phillies Astros again, but at the same time, I'll be goddamned if I'm rooting for Max Scherzer to win a game fucking 7.
I'll be rooting for him.
You will be,
yeah,
because you hate Houston.
Yeah, I want the Rangers to make it to the World Series. I mean, they're a bunch of scumbag cheaters, and they didn't even get penalty for it. Like, they got nothing. There was no repercussions.
Well, but when you say there's like 2 of them left that were even on the team.
But you know what I'm saying. The organization. It's a black eye. It hit me today.
A black eye, by the way, the only color eye Max Scherzer isn't rocking tonight.
I've gone to one regular season baseball game in the last 2 years. That was a free thing. It kind of hit me today. Like, what happened, baseball? And NFL's like going there. They're like, hey, man, we're just going to keep whoring out Taylor Swift. We're gonna get you so annoyed. I don't know what it would take to leave the NFL. Take a lot.
Well, Andy, you were just talking about Jameis and the Saints. Like, if there's one thing that we can all agree on when it comes to Jameis and the Saints, let's get him in there before December. Like, I definitely want to watch Jameis playing quarterback for the Saints.
Oh, I would love that. Live December 16th.
Way prefer that.
So there's been some discussions between myself and Justin, aka Randy Ruther. I threw this out there. Not that I'm fully committing to this, but maybe. I said our Airbnb has a bunk bed. I said Randy and Andy have to get the bunk beds,
the Randy Andy bunk bed.
I'm just saying, like, doesn't that seem to make the most sense?
I mean, I'm so into it.
Right?
Sure. I like where your head's at. I mean, I had already penciled you into a solo room. You know, you being the patriarch of the Dirty Sports fam.
And I paid for it so far.
Randy. I mean, it is good content.
I was just thinking, you know, us in the bunk beds. I had a bunk bed growing up. Kind of brings back some nostalgia. Sometimes I want a bunk bed as an adult. I know that sounds weird. I'm just like, it'd be cool to have a bunk bed. December 16th, guys.
4:00 live, 1000th episode of this podcast. 7:00 and 9:00 stand-up shows featuring the Dirty Sports All-Stars. Headlined by yours truly. If you go to Comedy House NOLA today, you can get your tickets. Pick the comedy show you want to go to, either the 7:00 show or the 9:00 show. And when you get in there to pick your tickets for those shows, you will see the opportunity to bundle a ticket with a podcast. Buy the comedy show ticket. You can bundle it with a podcast. If you go to the podcast page, you can't bundle it with a comedy show. So do that. It's the obvious thing.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see which dirtballs show up. A lot of people have messaged me and you and our social at the Dirty Sports. Some new people I've never met before. Some
I saw, you know, I pop into the Mean Girls chat on Twitter every once in a while. And I was in there and I didn't scroll back. So I don't know if I had missed something. But I think it's possible that there was a talk of a Twerks with Wolves sighting in New Orleans.
Do you know who he ran into? Just ran into him. Jay Lloyd in New Orleans or in Las Vegas.
They just ran into each other?
Just ran into each other.
Accidentally?
I'm pretty sure because Jay Lloyd sent me a text. He's like, look who I ran into in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Just ran into him. It's Twerks.
Twerks, by the way, went to Shacktoberfest. He posted it on his thing. I was like, dude, tell me everything about Shacktoberfest.
What's Shacktoberfest?
It's Shacktoberfest. It's a month-long Halloween festival cultivated by the most dominant big man in NBA history. Saw the Queen Mary down in Long Beach. Haunted trails.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Shacktastic bars.
Shaq's running.
Shacktastic food stands. It's your number one selection for Halloween fun. Not Scary Farm is like Christian Leitner. Why would you go there?
Can you imagine if Shaq?
Universal Studios is like Alonzo Mourning. Maybe 3 in my draft class, but I'm number 1.
Can you imagine if you were on a scary, like, haunted house or hike or whatever, and 7 fucking, how tall is Shaq?
Yeah, 7'2".
7'2" dude jumped out in the
7'2", 400-pound man dressed up as a giant pumpkin. He jumps out from behind a wall. I'm a Shack-O-Lantern. Get it? Look at me.
Let's shit my pants, man.
Haha.
You ever go to haunted houses? I haven't done that in a long time.
I haven't done it forever. I want to go to Shacktoberfest.
I've been gone like since I was a kid. Does he actually dress up?
I don't know. That's why I was like, Twerks, tell me everything about Shacktoberfest.
Of course Twerks went. He's our Disneyland guy.
Yeah.
I heard they're jacking the prices up for that. I need Twerks to reach out to give me the down low on what's going on with the Disneyland prices. Did you know how expensive it would be if you said, hey, I'm going to go to Disneyland or Disney World with the family?
Oh, some absurd amount of money.
Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Even if, like, let's say I want to drive to Florida. Let's say I want to take Isla when she's older to Orlando. It's insane. I just I don't get it. Like, I never cared about that stuff as a kid. Like, we never went. Like, if you're a parent, you're like, okay, we're going to go to the beach somewhere. That's going to be our fun vacation. We're going to Orlando, Florida. You think Twerk still has a membership?
I don't know.
A pass?
A season pass? I wouldn't be surprised. Although he was living up in Camarillo. Now that he's in Long Beach, I bet you'll have one next year. That's for sure.
Send me a message, Twerks. He's still listening, right?
I think so.
I'm going to shoot him a message regardless. We got to get to the download. We got to get to the bottom of the story. I didn't really follow up. I was like, oh, that's cool. Again, 310-359-8365. That's our hotline. Follow us on social at The Dirty Sports. Come see us in New Orleans. Joe's all over the place. The call I did not play today because we basically talked about the NFL being rigged, but it's our Alaskan DirtBall. He's in Fairbanks. He was asking where you were.
That's a great question. I'll be there I believe it's 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. I think I'll be in Anchor Point, Kenai, Wasilla, and Anchorage. One of those has got to be close by, although Alaska's pretty fucking big, so probably not. That's where I'll be. It's the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of that week. So whatever those dates are. It's all on my website, joeprano.com. I have a link tree in my Instagram bio. I'm at Joe Prano on Instagram, at Joe Prano on TikTok, at Fix Your Life on X, at Joe Prano on everything, basically. I'll also be in Las Vegas next week, a week from today, Monday the 30th through Sunday, November 5th. Going to go see Giants Raiders. If the Giants can somehow beat the Jets this week, not looking good. But if they could somehow pull it off, it is in their home stadium, even though it's an away game. Then it would be the chance to go 4-5 against the Josh McDaniels Raiders next week. So
I thought you threw the towel in the season.
I did. Well, I absolutely did throw in the towel in the season. And let me say this, Andy, the reason is because of the Seahawks loss, because every other game is essentially a game that was okay to lose. You lose to the Cowboys, who cares what the score is? If you want to have a good season, you're probably splitting with the Cowboys anyway. So there's that. I didn't think they were going to beat the Niners or the Bills or the Dolphins. So they didn't. And then, of course, the Seahawks loss was the one that kind of broke the back. But you got to win a game that you're not supposed to win at some point. So I don't know. They won this week. Maybe basically they have to run the table from last week through the Cowboys game. They got to they have to beat the Commanders, Jets, Raiders, and Cowboys in a row to get back to 5-5. Otherwise, the season remains over. Until that happens, I'm not talking about. But I still want to go to the game. I've never been to the Death Star or whatever they call it in Vegas. So I'll be at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club next week, October 30th through November 5th. Come and see me there. I'll be doing longish sets all week until Friday, Saturday, when Brad himself will be in Vegas. So come see me and Brad Garrett. Not often that I'm significantly shorter than anybody on a comedy show, but Brad Garrett will be there. So come out and see me in Vegas. Come see me in Alaska. Come see us in New Orleans. Come see me tomorrow night at Flappers in Burbank. Come see me somewhere else in and around LA. JoePrainer.com, all my social media. Follow me. Thank you.
Word. All right, guys. That's our show. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll be back on Thursday. Have a great week. And as always, stay